basically the tech communities of Cebu wouldn't have work without the support of these co-working spaces. I mean, some companies also support us in terms of venue, but I mean the constant venues that we have are always uh, with co-working spaces.
Welcome to Ka Computer Podcast, where tech meets wit and wisdom. I'm your host, Andre,
I'm Elle from EnSpace.
along with our guests.
Hi, I'm BJ. I'm the co-lead organizer of Pizza Pie Cebu Python Users Group.
Hey, this is Ange. I am the founder of AI Generation Cebu, the AI community homegrown in Cebu.
Hello mga besh, mga bhai. I'm Torel and I'm the lead of JavaScript Cebu, focusing on the web technologies using JavaScript.
Okay, so for tonight, before we proceed with our questions, we want our tech leads here to introduce their perspective communities. Maybe we should start with BJ, our first guest.
Introducing
Yes,
Pizza
your
Pie.
yes, your Pizza Pie.
Okay,
community.
so Pizza Pie, well, we are a Python community, like the Python programming language. We are a Python Software Foundation recognized group, and we formed back in 2013, October. And we kind of do anything and everything about Python and tech in general. So, we have a Facebook page, we have a meetup.com page, which is our source of truth. And we also have a group chat where everyone and anyone can talk about tech and Python in general. And sometimes we organize some events like talks and workshops, and some engagements with the government, which I can talk about later.
So, AI Generation Cebu community, I kickstarted this as a community. It is to upskill on Cebuanos' current proficiencies in AI and also increasing their know-how of the AI technology, and we're activating certain industries even outside the tech world, in industries like real estate. There's business, there's startups in general, as well as digital marketing. So we're also helping businesses out with their processes and improving from there.
Hey, thank you. So I want to introduce JavaScript Cebu. It's a community for the people, by the people. So we initially started from other communities, from Laravel to React, then came to be JavaScript. We are not just, I know I said it earlier that we're more in the web technology space, but actually since JavaScript is really applied to the other areas and domains, mobile, AI, and then blockchain, we're also doing that. We do primarily focused on upskilling people. We've created many meetups, events, workshops, hackathons, and many more. So our focus really is community building, elevating the tech scene here in Cebu, and we'll be happy to always do that moving forward. Thank you.
All right, so to get the ball rolling, I guess, let's probably ask the tough question already. So, what's the hardest part of actually building a tech community? I guess let's start with BJ.
Okay, so as someone who's been doing this since 2019, so I'm not the founder of Pizza Pie. We've had other founders before, and there's another organizer before me. Really, the hard part really is it's a lot of what you do, you're gonna do it alone. Just to shorten the comparison, it's basically creating a startup, except that you don't get paid. But what we do is, honestly, a lot of times it's out of our hearts that we love the technology that we have, we love our field, and we love to help other people. And a lot of times, we sometimes fund it ourselves. We invest our own time with it. And in general, it's actually hard to find people like ourselves that want to also continue the what you call this, continue the advocacy that we have, or probably even finding people who have the same problems as we have. So that's why, I mean, we have a very close bond with our fellow tech community leads because of that kind of issue. So yeah, mostly being a self-starter that has been a helper for us to deal with these challenges. But basically, finding other self-starters, that has always been a challenge for us. Anyone else?
So my challenges in building an AI community in Cebu, apart from doing it, well, mostly if you're doing it alone, then you'll have to look for people you can trust. Now that was my problem with building an AI community, was to select co-organizers that I can trust in running certain event programs that would range from discussions with seminars, workshops, and hackathons that can actually deliver on their own end, apart from actually doing it all by myself. So what I would like to also impart as advice for anyone wanting to build a community is to be able to find the people you can trust as co-organizers, or any segment for that matter.
Perfect. Thank you, Ange and BJ, for sharing your sentiments. I think for me, the hardest part of creating a community is finding really the heart, to serve people. Because if you don't have that, you will really stop. You won't last. And aside from those issues where you have like to shell out your money, you have to go the extra mile, spending your time. Those things are given if you are creating a community. But after all, since our community started with the mission to be a community for the people, by the people, so we've been able to manage and survive. Thank God. So yeah, I think for the most part, it's gonna be really challenging because you are gonna wear all of the hats, right? So every possible role. I've learned a lot. I especially didn't know how to design, but I can manage to do that because there's kind of like you have to rely on people. You'll not go far in your community, but there will always be opportunities, right? So patience, leadership skills, and all of those things, you will learn that.
Yeah. You really need to be passionate.
You really be really passionate, and you don't want to, give up, right?
I want to add also, because the work that we do is actually voluntary.
Yes.
So it's not exactly the first thing that we have in our lives. We have our personal lives to deal with. We have our livelihood sometimes community helps. Actually, it helps us with our brand recognition. Like, Dorel, we see Dorel with his work with JavaScript Cebu all the time. So must be a good JavaScript developer. They kind of see the same as me. So it helps with our brand management. But in terms of like prioritizing, this is always our struggle to how to balance our personal and our real priority, which is our work, and also all this passion that we have. So far, that's the challenge that we're trying to do better every day in terms of balancing. And there's also some choices that we cannot really make this a very formal thing all the time, because it's gonna burn us out. It's too formal, so we have to have fun also while doing it. So that's why a lot of the events that we're doing, we're actually having fun doing it. So yeah, that's also how we deal with that.
I think it's time to thank our sponsor naman, no? So White Cloak Technologies is a custom software development company. They build mobile and web applications. They work with leading brands in banking and real estate. Visit their website at www.whitecloak.com to know more.
So this time, let's talk about the community growth and the tech community hub. So, how do you think like your venue partners or co-working spaces like EnSpace can help and contribute to your community growth, and what do you think are the benefits, for the venue? Because yeah, I think venues can benefit from these communities. Yeah, who's gonna go first?
I can. Okay. I'm gonna speak from history since, well, I'm not the oldest. We're not the oldest tech community here in Cebu, but we're one of the oldest. But we've always benefited from co-working spaces. Like before, there was the Tide, and then around 2014 until 2018, and then from 2018 until now, there's the company, and now there's EnSpace. Basically, the tech communities of Cebu wouldn't have work without the support of these co-working spaces. I mean, some companies also support us in terms of venue, but I mean, the constant venues that we have are always with co-working spaces. And the thing is, the co-working spaces, I believe, benefit from us. Also, I mean, aside from, we kind of organize a bit of ridiculous events from time to time. I'm not talking about the format of the event, but the attendance of the event, from like, be it like from 15, 20 people to like 100 people. We're kind of organizing those a lot of times for free, or sometimes with a workshop fee or something. So that helps them with foot traffic. And also, we're actually the demographic that they're looking for in terms of people who are availing tech co-working subscriptions. I mean, this is also applicable to all towns in the Philippines. Like, most of us digital workers are the ones who need co-working spaces the most, especially when we need constant internet connection. We want to have a different environment for working, and we have like, yeah, just a constant connection and environment in working. So I guess we're also the best market to market on in terms of like the co-working spaces. Anything else, guys?
You wanna go, Ange? So just want to verify that the question is, how does the working space community growth? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me answer your question, L. And I think for the most part, right, if we can hold the events in any space, right? But there's a huge advantage if we're holding it in an event space like this, a co-working space. Particularly, I think, I get this compliment as well. And it's your compliment. Most people, they see co-working space like EnSpace with the Japanese vibes. They are very welcoming, right? If you compare that to other places, the experience might not be the same, right? So that's kind of like a huge plus. But if we're really looking into, holding an event and then doing things, the same format, meetup, etc., the user experience of the people coming in and attending those events is what we think is one of the most important things as well to consider. And EnSpace, particularly in that area, is I can't find a word. Parang tumpak talaga, 100%, yung ganon. So, yeah, and without co-working spaces, we'll probably be, I don't know, coffee shops.
I mean, we've had coffee shops before.
Yeah, we could do that. But having access to fast internet, especially for workshops, you really needed that.
You have the
Yeah.
internet, you have the community, and you have our target audience. No?
Yeah.
Especially for devs.
Actually, plus one, right? Yeah, plus one on that. That aside from just being a venue, it's like a home for not just existing, communities, but new ones, right? Because when people knows that there's a venue that caters to technology, when there's something new, they get interested, right? So how about you?
And I'd like to add to that, as someone who is just also figuring out the community building grind and how you can actually, keep the interest of people coming in, wanting to when they want to like attend events, and also me maintaining that sustainability part of doing events. I really do thank EnSpace like a whole lot. I've been mentioning them in so many ways, like in marketing, in whenever I promote certain events, I would also mention EnSpace because of how we're grateful for the many times that even through launches, that EnSpace would back up communities without pressuring them with a lot in terms of setting up their event. So in that way, I'm not seeing places around like the city, or perhaps even it's true for other cities, that we don't really see a true hub for tech unless a co-working space steps up to the plate and actually introduces or positions themselves as a tech hub. So that is something that we're all grateful for in the Sembutech communities, and Space has really helped us with so much of our growth, because not only do we meet new people, but the people from other communities can also attend the events of other communities. So we're not gatekeeping each other's community or members of. So we are supporting each other because there's an infrastructure to be able to do that. So logistically, it's not that difficult. In that way, if there are events that might happen before the other event goers of that event can actually attend the next event that's gonna come in right after that event on that day. So that's one of the samples and ways EnSpace really has made it possible for events to stay sustained and events to keep happening.
Lastly, I want to add, like, this is the most central location that we can get. So personally, I try to, as for our events, we try to make the venue accessible by public transportation. So for Cebu, that usually means the IT Park Cebu Business Park corridor, and this place and space is right in the heart of that corridor. So I cannot see any other co-working spaces that can host with such a nice venue and such a welcoming atmosphere. Okay, all right, thank you, EnSpace.
All right. So, yeah. So speaking of starting out in creating their communities, what advice would you actually give to someone looking into starting their own community in Cebu's tech scene? So I guess let's start with Dorel.
Okay. I think this is really gonna be really useful for everyone, especially those really starting. Do not start a community when you're just one person. It's gonna be I think the most ideal setup would be having at least 3 members, if you can do that, or 2, right? Because we're humans, right? And there are times when we can't give our 100%, because there are things that is happening in our lives, and sometimes we just can't give our all best. And having other leads, having someone to bounce back ideas, create more events, more engaging, it's different than just going solo. Speaking of me, solo. Anyway.
I'm guilty.
Anyways, yeah, so I've been blessed when we started, and I'm gonna enter the community. I've been blessed that when we started, we have like 3 leads or more, and even though they're not active anymore, their support are still there, right? You can still, get in touch with them when you need them, and yeah, it's different if you're just one person, right? Who are you gonna be, but luckily though, since all of us here in Cebu are leads, we're just really, really close friends, I would say, right? So that wouldn't be an issue today compared to like if you were starting just like ours when I was 2016, 2017. That's we're gonna be really tough, right? So yeah, and have the heart. That's all. Yeah, and I think that's all for me. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you so much. Actually was a very insightful response. We are definitely keeping this Cebuano culture quite comfortable, and that it makes everyone feel that they're at home, and it also makes everyone feel that they can just talk to each other.
Okay. I think aside from our shared trauma, not just joking. I mean, I would, I'd be honest that tech community organizing is hard. I mean, it's the same as startup actually. But the thing is, I've advised also not only people here in Cebu, but other regions as well, like Davao, Naga, those people I just recently met again. They always think of, I have to be an expert on this topic so that I can start a community. That's not necessary. That's not necessary. As long as you're very interested about it, you can start a community. And also to bounce back on what Dorel said, you need at least one or two co-founders, so 2 or 3 of you, because when someone kind of has stuff happen in their life, in their work, whatever, and someone can cover, and also a good soundboard for your ideas. But yeah, a lot of times I just say, just do it.